Just ahead on American Black Journal, what's next for the city of Detroit as it emerges from bankruptcy? We'll tackle that question from the perspective of the people who are most affected: Detroit residents, employees, and retirees. Plus, UAW-Ford is honoring members for their work in the community. That's all coming up now.
At DTE Energy, we believe that we have a greater responsibility. We believe that being part of a community means being involved in the fabric of that community, investing time, effort, and resources in the communities we serve. DTE Energy Foundation is a proud sponsor of American Black Journal.
Welcome to American Black Journal. I'm Stephen Henderson. Now that the grand bargain is a done deal and Detroit is exiting bankruptcy, what lies ahead for the city and its stakeholders? Throughout the bankruptcy, Judge Stephen Rhodes remained focused on the needs of all Detroiters, from residents to employees to retirees. In his final ruling, the judge issued a message to residents saying, "A large number of you told me that you were angry that your city was taken away from you and put into bankruptcy. I urge you now to not forget your anger." He also acknowledged the hardship resulting from pension cuts, saying this bankruptcy, however, like most, is all about the shared sacrifice that's necessary because the city is insolvent and desperately needs to fix its future. Joining me now to discuss Detroit's future are two people who are very connected to the community. Shirley Lightsey is the president of the Detroit Retired Cities Employee Association, and Reverend Kevin Turman is the pastor of Second Baptist Church in Detroit. Welcome to American Black Journal.
Thank you very much.
I want to start with you, Shirley. I'm not sure that people quite understand the impact of this bankruptcy on retirees. Walk us through what your members are going to face.
My members are going to face, first of all, a 4.5% decrease in the actual pension
in their
check.
pension payouts.
Just the pension check,
right.
They have lost their COLA. Their medical, which really started this year, is, I would say, 80% of what we had before. I'm sorry, 20% of what we had before,
right.
80% cut.
Right.
And then there are those between that 10-year period that they claimed that they had been paid excessive interest on their annuity.
On those annuities, right.
Yes. So the impact is going to be scattered throughout the retirees. The older retirees who retired prior to that 10-year period won't have the annuity interest excess, but they are the ones who will probably miss what we had in our health care.
More than others.
Yes, because their health care, just an example, before this year, it's $10 to go to a doctor. It's now $25. If it's a specialist, it could be anywhere from $35 to $40. Their prescriptions have quadrupled to get your prescriptions. Well, the prescriptions were, depending on which group you had. If you had a HAP prescription or a Blue Cross, there were different amounts, but they have tripled for everyone, and there are a lot of retirees that are mad, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
And what are they telling you about how they're going to adjust to these kind of changes?
Well, I've had some people who, from the beginning, they would call and ask me, what should I do? I said, consolidate your bills. If you have bills, especially the older ones. I said, because all of us spend, we'll charge something and not think about it.
Right.
But you don't necessarily need it. And some people have done that. And then there are others who I didn't talk to who have, I guess, approached it differently. But there are people that are hurting in all areas, even some of the younger ones, because they are the ones who will have the annuities adjusted. And it's very difficult to understand. I understand it because I was there watching as the money came through.
Sure.
Found out exactly how broke the city really was.
Right.
Because in the beginning, they didn't even know. The money was not showing them, so they had to figure out what was really lacking. And then the city of Detroit, I grew up in this city, and I grew up in a time when everything was booming. We had 1.8 million people, and streetcars, and all kinds of stuff going on. And you don't have that anymore. To ride through the city, to go visit somebody on another side of town and see the blight and the emptiness. You know, you haven't been somewhere for 2 years and you go down that street and there are no houses.
It's gone. Everything's
It's gone. You know, I had one of our secretaries. She lived on the east side, cute little brick house, a nice little neighborhood. I didn't go over for 5 or 6 years. When I went to see her, for some reason, it was like, is this Beirut or is this Detroit?
Right.
You know, it looked like
there's a lot of
out
that.
city.
Yeah.
So those are the things that you have to remember. Detroit has to be rebuilt.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful city with wonderful people.
Right.
And everyone that is in the city is paying for the years of neglect.
Right. Reverend, you not only have probably employees in your congregation, but you also obviously have residents. So you're seeing this from both sides as well. The kind of sacrifices that have been made and are going to have to be made in order to get the city back on its feet.
Oh, no doubt. I'm not a person who grew up in Detroit. I've lived here now 26 years. And it seems that we're always cycling between being hopeful and being disappointed. Yeah. And now we're hopeful.
Right.
But we have to wait and see what's going to happen on the other side of bankruptcy. We are promised that it's going to be a cleaner city. We are promised that there's going to be more opportunity. But the needs of our communities are pretty consistent.
Sure.
We need quality education.
Right.
We need people to be able to get back and forth to jobs because jobs are no longer in the neighborhoods, and so we need a transit system.
We need transit, sure.
That is going to facilitate that. We're going to need a sense of safety and security in our neighborhoods. We're going to need meaningful employment. We need, the needs of the city have been pretty consistent over time. It's not been Detroiters, as we were hearing. Detroiters are fine. It's Detroit's leadership that has failed them decade after decade, and we can only be hopeful now that better leadership and better responsibility on the part of our leadership is going to lead us to some better days.
Yeah, what are you hearing from people in your congregation about
skepticism?
About those needs? Really?
What would
because we've been disappointed so many times.
Why would they be otherwise?
Right.
We keep being promised that tomorrow is going to be better, and it isn't.
Right.
So we are hopeful that this bankruptcy is going to result in more lights and better streets and more security and police that will respond in a meaningful amount of time. But until it actually happens, why wouldn't we be skeptical?
Yeah. I'm curious how you felt having to explain to your members what you say, like, that you learned throughout the bankruptcy, which was that this was a much worse situation than anybody thought it was, and the sacrifice was going to have to hit everyone. That couldn't have been an easy set of conversations.
I'm still explaining.
Yeah.
Because so many did not want this plan of adjustment to be approved. And I had to actually take a stand and make a decision, because having watched all the meetings, the money, listening to the need and the lack of everything, you had to say, well, we're not going to get out of this without being heard.
Yeah.
The grand bargain, as much as people didn't want the grand bargain, there are many that didn't want to, without the grand bargain, we probably would have been hit by at least 31% pensions only.
Sure.
My concern is we've got 2/3 of the retirees that are getting under $2,000 a month.
A month, right.
And probably 50% or more of them are getting less than $1,000 a month. Wow. We have a retirement age group of 65 and over. It's 2/3. So you have to, I had to look, because we've got $600, $700, $800 pensions, and those are generally the older retirees, and a great amount of our beneficiaries, which are mostly widows, not widowers.
Okay?
Right. And a 31% hit on a $600 or $700 check, you know, and people have said,
That's
well,
big.
they may have some other income or whatever. You know, when you're 70 or 80 years old, you've retired, even if you had other income, it's probably gone. You don't have that third leg of the stool that you're supposed to have when you retire. You're supposed to have those 3 legs.
Right.
And it's gone. So, you know, I had to sort of look at the whole picture, know what the money was all about and how much we were really going to have to give up.
Yeah.
And the 4.5 on the pension only for some of those who who are going to always have to pay more for their medical also, I thought was the best deal we could get.
It was probably the best we
It was
we
the
were
best
gonna
deal.
get. Yeah.
Because, yeah.
That's what I had to share with my congregation when the time came for the vote. I said, our choices, unfortunately, are bad or worse.
Yeah.
And so I'm asking you to go and vote for bad, because if that fails, what's going to come behind is going to be worse.
What's going to come behind is going to be worse. Is there a role that you have to play now to sort of help, or that the whole religious community will have to play in trying to shore up some of these folks who are really going to be pushed further down into the the bottom end of the economic
Well, I think
ladder?
the role that the church plays and the role that community leadership plays is, number one, helping people understand finances.
Right.
Financial literacy instruction is something that we're emphasizing at the church, not just for retirees, but for all of our members of our community, because as was shared, sometimes we waste money.
Right.
And in a time like this, we have no
can't
money,
afford it.
no money
Right.
to waste. And so we'll have community conversations, we'll have community meals, we'll do a lot of things in order to muster limited resources, including cooking classes. I mean, we have not come from a whole lot in our background and now to less. We came from a little bit more, now we're doing with a little bit less. We
Right.
came from beans 3 times a week, and it was white beans and brown beans and black beans with turkey here and ham hocks there. So, I mean, we do know how
Right,
to make
we
do.
understand
It's just a
that.
sense of unfairness
Yeah.
that those who have worked 20, 30, 40 years in the system in order to provide a pension are now being asked to give back some of that in order to make up for poor decisions that were made in the past.
Right, right. What do you think the future is of the Retirees Association and of the bargaining units that negotiate pay and retirement
Well,
for employees?
I can't speak to the bargaining units that
sure, those are
right,
separate.
But for the association, it's rough right now, but the associations will survive. We have been in business since 1960. I've been a member of the associations since 1987 and president for 15 years. So we have a mixture of retirees. We have those that are younger, but as I said, you know, we have most of our retirees are over 65.
Right.
And for our health issue, we have a closed door after the 31st of December for retirees coming into the medical plan.
Right.
So
And then
we
they
now
go
have
into-
Aviva.
into
We're
Aviva,
establishing Aviva.
right.
I'm a member of a trustee, as they call us, a trustee to be, because it has not been confirmed with a date yet. But we're still working. We're putting it together.
Yeah.
So, and I'm happy to be able to bridge from the bankruptcy to the VIBA, because there was so much that went on in the bankruptcy that needs to kind of go into the VIBA also.
Yeah.
But it has been it has been an eye-opening experience, and unfortunately, a lot of people don't want to listen
Yeah.
to the facts.
Right. You know, I'm wondering, Reverend, you talked about the skepticism that you hear in your congregation. How do you feel? You've been here 26 years and led a very prominent church in our community. What's your sense of where we're headed?
My sense is that we're headed to a better place. How long it will take to get there,
Yeah.
I guess is still up in the air, and whether or not this is the leadership that's going to be able to guide us. And I'm not just talking about political leadership, I'm talking about across the board. Whether this is the leadership that our community needs, from Urban League to NAACP to religious community to political community, to our entrepreneurs and business community. Whether this is the group that's going to lead us to a better place, I don't know, we'll have to see. Yeah. But I'm happy that we have some portion of democracy returned to our
Back.
city.
Sure.
I'm hopeful that we will be able to stay engaged, and as Judge Rhodes said, that we will stay as angry and engaged as we move forward, as people have been just through the bankruptcy process. So I'm a person of hope. I believe I preach in hope, so I would be hopeful. But I know that I've been hopeful before. When I came in, it was the Hope team that was being elected
on the school
to
board.
the school board,
Sure.
and that didn't exactly pan out as we had
Yeah.
thought it might. So we're in a hopeful cycle, and I'm in that cycle as well.
Yeah, well, that's good to hear. Thank you both for being here, and of course, we hope that we won't be here again, that this is the way forward and not back again. Just ahead on American Black Journal, UAW-Ford employees demonstrate the importance of giving back to the community. That's next, right after this look at some important moments in Detroit's Black history.
I'm Ken Coleman with a look back at African American life in Detroit. This week in 1982, the Clark Sisters album, You Brought the Sunshine, entered the top 10 of the Billboard magazine music chart. In 1968, I'm Gonna Make You Love Me by Diana Ross and the Supremes and the Temptations was released. And in 1978, Detroit Tigers second baseman Lou Whitaker won the American League Rookie of the Year crown. These are significant events this week in Detroit's Black history, taken from the book On This Day, African American Life in Detroit.
As the holidays approach, UAW-Ford is gearing up for two big events that highlight the season of giving. The union will present 56 employees from across the nation with the first annual Community Service Awards for their dedication to helping others and improving the workplace. And next month, UAW-Ford will donate meals to hundreds of Detroit area families in need of a helping hand. Joining me now to talk about these two initiatives is UAW-Ford Vice President Jimmy Settles. Welcome to American Black Journal.
Good morning.
It seems like this is the absolute right thing at the right time, given the kind of economic conditions that we see, the stagnant economy. Giving back is something we need employees and everybody to be doing right now, and you guys are celebrating that.
Yes. On November 22nd, we're going to honor at least 56 of our members that done some extraordinary things in the community. And I'm very happy this will be our very first go at it.
Yeah. Give me some examples of some of the people or some of the things that they've done who are going to be honored.
One of them is going to be honored. It's a gentleman that actually came to us and decided that he wanted to build ramps. And really, it comes out of Ohio. And it was a retiree, and we had a group there that built ramps. I am proud to say today, not just are we building ramps in Ohio, we're building in Michigan and Illinois and Kentucky and Missouri. As we speak today, we have built over 3,000 ramps that cost the people absolutely nothing. So very, very proud of that.
And these are disabled people's ramps.
Right, yes. We first started working with the United Fund, and then we just took it. It got so big that we got calls all over the country, so we just go as needed.
Yeah, yeah. So how are you identifying, I mean, this is a nationwide group of people. How are you sort of identifying the folks who are deserving of this?
We have a community magazine that we started over a year ago. Really was a vision of myself and a few others. We decided because as I travel the country, we have a lot of members do a lot of great things. And to be honest with you too, is that as auto workers, we have been known had to have a bad image.
Yeah.
Every time you look at
Sometimes,
TV,
right?
Yeah, it's something negative. So we wanted to show the positives because I knew it was, that we were doing that, but we never had collected everything together. So we decided to come out with a community magazine, and it just jumped. We had actually no money, no budget. We just put the word out, and we had all kind of people respond. And we put out we first started doing it in a quarterly magazine.
Okay.
Now we have a monthly magazine as we go into our second year. So we just really delighted of the things that our members do.
And what's the membership like now in terms of the numbers at UAW-Ford?
In UAW-Ford now we got pretty close to 50,000. Just 4 years ago we were at 30,000.
Right.
So in the last year we picked up over 20,000 new members.
And is that because of rehires at plants or new work at plants?
Some of it is because of the volume picked up. Others that we have been able to negotiate contracts where we brought work in from foreign countries back in to North America. So we're very, very proud of that also.
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of people don't quite understand anymore what the union does or what the benefits are to its members. This is a good example, but there are a lot of other things that are still the way they are because of the UAW. And I can say that as the grandson of not just a UAW member, but a leader. I mean, it is still a very vital part of corporate America and of America in general.
Yeah, I mean, just here in the city of Detroit, I mean, we're not just boasting because we do this because we know that not only is a preamble, it's the right thing to do. Detroit public school system, over the last year, we have donated over $1 million. Matter of fact, we just donated $100,000 just a couple of weeks ago so we can continue to have math and after-school care and sports programs in the city of Detroit. We have built at least 5 weight rooms around the city because as we went to different high schools, they were really in shambles. We sponsored the summer program. We had over 2,000 kids to try to keep out the street.
Right.
We have School Sampson on the far west side of Detroit. We just donated 800 uniforms. A very, very economic deprived area, and we got 2 uniforms per person. And we also bought a washing machine and dryer, and we keep a supply of detergent. And we're teaching kids how to take care of their own so they can make certain they have a fresh pair of clothes on a daily basis. And we're supplying coats later on this year. And we do a gamut of things around the country, but in particular in the city of Detroit that I'm very, very proud of.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people think the union is for those people or other people, but really, I mean, union members are just everybody among us. It's our friends, it's our neighbors, people in our churches.
Right. I mean, we're a mirror society. I mean, we're everything everybody else is. We just happen to work sometimes in plants. So even though UAW members have all kind of occupation, but the majority of them are auto workers.
Sure.
This is it just amazes me sometimes because I just seen your segment a minute ago. One of their deacons is also a good friend of mine.
Oh, is that at Second Baptist?
Yes, and he's an auto worker.
Yeah.
But we have some of everything.
Right.
We have, got all kind of things we do outside of work in the community. So we try to highlight that.
Yeah, and the union is benefiting now from the pickup of the auto industry, which I think is the singular sort of bright spot in the economy right now. Really, is that manufacturing and auto manufacturing in particular is still headed in the right direction after those bankruptcies.
Yes, I mean probably the resurgence of Michigan is because of manufacturing and the auto industry.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, for every one job that's brought back, and I just mentioned in Ford alone, we got 20,000 jobs within the UAW. We're probably about 50, 60,000 more than we were in the state of Michigan. And for every one job that's produced, there are 9 jobs connected with that. So you can do the math and see how much it has to play on the economy. I'm really, really proud and really that we had a president that was very sensitive and understood and saved the auto industry, and now it's paying master dividends.
Yeah, yeah, and the relationship between the union and the companies has changed. It seems like from the outside for the better. Do you feel that too?
I definitely feel that, and I probably was remiss in not mentioning that all these programs we have is a joint program between UAW and Ford
with the company.
Yeah, with the company. I mean, this holiday season we will be passing out well over 25,000 baskets that not only just have turkey, have all the trimmings with it also. And average cost about $30 per basket.
Yeah.
And this is becoming collaborative between our UAW and Ford. Yes, we do a lot well.
Yeah, and you guys are located in the city of Detroit. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about all of the big news about the bankruptcy and the emergency manager, and now coming back to a place where we're going to be in charge again locally. What are you seeing among your membership in terms of their reaction or the effect on them from all of this?
Well, I mean, we are very sensitive, especially to the workers. Obviously, that took such large concessions.
Yeah.
We have been through that before.
You've been there,
also.
I was going to say, you know what that's like.
Right, and a lot of them are, I have relatives that work for the city also. But we know one of the problems, I remember a long time ago, Coleman Young once said that somebody asked him what's wrong with Detroit. He said nothing but a few 100,000 more jobs.
Right.
And we're trying to supply jobs. And that's what's wrong with Detroit. We have to bring some manufacturing back and more jobs and to generate more tax revenue, et cetera.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you see in the neighborhoods. I mean, when I was a kid, people in the neighborhoods where I grew up or where my friends did, they all worked in the auto plants or for suppliers. Those jobs are coming back, but we're not at the levels that we were before, and that's what's hurting those neighborhoods is the lack of opportunity.
You're absolutely right, and within the UAW, we're trying to do everything we possibly can. Because, when I was a kid, I remember that probably the Big Three had 90% of the market.
Right.
And as we speak now, because of the offshore coming into America, the Big Three has less than 50%.
Right.
And the transnationals do a lot of their work not in America.
Right.
Although they do have some in America. So we're trying to remedy that situation, to trying to make certain that we bring these jobs into North America. If you sell here, build here, hire here.
Right, hire here and negotiate with the union,
Right.
which some of them are a little reluctant to do.
Especially when offshore are very reluctant, but we're getting there.
Yeah. Well, very good job on the program, and thanks for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. That's our program for today. Thanks for watching. You can get more information about our guests at AmericanBlackJournal.org. And as always, you can connect with us on Facebook and on Twitter. Plus, you can now hear episodes of American Black Journal on the radio. Tune into WDET 101.9 FM on Fridays at 9:30 a.m. and 7:30 p.m. We'll see you next time.
At DTE Energy, we believe that we have a greater responsibility. We believe that being part of a community means being involved in the fabric of that community, investing time, effort, and resources in the communities we serve. DTE Energy Foundation is a proud sponsor of American Black Journal.